writes about cars and the auto industry. And she attended the auto show in Detroit recently, and she joins me now. I've known Lauren Fix for years here. Boy, let me ask you something. At the end of the day, was it the right thing to do for President Bush to propose the auto industry bailout and for, I guess he was newly elected, President Obama to see it through as President Obama?
Well, there's a big dispute amongst auto journalists and analysts, and I say they shouldn't have, because Roger Penske, which a lot of people didn't know about, wanted to buy General Motors.
Oh.
He's a very large dealer group. Now, if Penske had purchased General Motors, he would have then been able to help fund it because he had the cash flow. There are other people who would have bought it. They're not going to let General Motors close their doors. And maybe not all of those brands that closed, like Oldsmobile and Hummer and Saturn, wouldn't have happened.
So you think that there was certainly another approach? There were other bidders out there?
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting.
But the government decided this is the way they wanted to do it. It's too big to fail, and so they gave it money, and so this is where we are today.
So the bailout happens.
Yes.
What did the industry do right post-bailout?
Well, they're building better cars, because you have to build cars that people want,
right.
And they have to build a higher quality car, and they weren't building bad cars before, but they're even better now, both from Ford, FCA, and from General Motors.
I got to tell you something, Lori, and I'm almost ashamed to admit it, but I got the L train back and forth to work, so I don't feel so bad. I don't own a car right now, and I didn't pay much attention to what happened in the industry in 2015. What I'm reading now is that it was a banner year. What happened? What was the story in the auto industry in 2015?
Okay, if you go back 3 years, and the average lease is about 3 years, remember that cash for clunkers?
Yes.
People that bought cars were people that could afford to buy cars. It was designed for people that couldn't afford cars. And so what ended up happening is people that could afford cars did purchase cars. And so this is why you're now saying 3 years from now, people are purchasing cars. Will this continue? You're going to see some growth into 2016, but by 2017, it's going to flatten out and possibly dip down.
What's the impact of lower gas prices on all of this buying?
Well, people are going to buy the cars they want anyhow. Even though the president was insistent that we're going to have 1 million cars, electric cars on the road, people aren't buying them. There's only
They aren't buying them?
No, only 115,000 cars were purchased this year. Of total, since he started pushing the electric vehicles, only 400,000 have been purchased. People that have them don't want them because they don't want to be tethered to a cord like your phone, like your smart devices. And so people are buying SUVs because here in the United States...
No, they're buying the bigger vehicles again.
Crossovers, SUVs, and pickup trucks take up 59% of the total 17 million plus cars sold this year.
Wow, wow. So is that because of gas prices? Is that because it's cheaper and you can buy a bigger vehicle? And is that what's happening?
But those cars are more fuel efficient now.
And they're more...
They have to meet the CAFE standards. The corporate average fuel economy is going up. So they're building better cars. They get better fuel efficiency. They're turbocharged. They're supercharged.
Right.
I mean, every manufacturer is really putting a lot of money into it.
So I'm a bit concerned about what you're saying here on electric cars. That seemed like the wave of the future here. Will they get the batteries right?
Well, they're never going to go away, because some people will love them and always want them. But hey, when you live here in New York City, you're not going to drop a cord from your building across the sidewalk, because you'll probably, the Super will have a meltdown. Oh, you can't do that. There's a liability factor involved here. But in other areas, it makes sense. And there are free charging. And in California, it does have a law. If you're not selling electric vehicles, you're not selling vehicles in this state, or there's going to be a huge penalty. So they are making
there'll be
cars.
An industry.
There's always going to be a portion of the industry, unless California changes their rules.
Okay, Lauren, let me get to this. A self-driving car, autonomous cars.
Or piloted. There's two different versions.
What?
There's piloted, which is what Audi is building. They're building piloted driving, or there's autonomous. Well, the difference is one is driving on the highway, and it's actually piloting the vehicle for you. Autonomous is where it's helping guide you and eventually taking over on the highway. So there's slightly different designs and different setups, but the government is trying to put $4 billion. It's a proposal over 10 years. And I say, let's take that $4 billion and put it into the roadways and bridges.
Infrastructure.
Infrastructure.
Because it doesn't...
Jobs.
Yes, because auto-piloted vehicles, autonomous vehicles, and this kind of messy infrastructure that we have, it doesn't kind of make a nice marriage.
They don't, because they need to have lines on the roadways and you have markers on the roadways. And if it's not there, the lasers and the cameras that are in front don't do their job. And remind one thing that's important right now, as of today, the cars that they showed at the Consumer Electronics Show, which I know you covered, as well as the Detroit Auto Show, don't work when it's snowing out or when there's heavy rain. And they only are designed for the highway. They're not designed for the city streets yet.
Let me ask the gallery very quick. Do we have any more time for Lauren? Okay, all right, we're done. Laura, great to see you, as always.
Great to see you.
Come on back and see me again. Up next on the program, the hottest year on record.